Dad, I took that idiot's bank card, and there's no money on it. I embarrassed myself in front of the whole store. My sister screamed into the phone. My brother rushed home immediately and burst into my apartment. What is wrong with you? Are you not afraid of anyone anymore? He took one step inside, then froze. My name is Sloan Mercer. I'm 28. And if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned. Have you ever felt the exact moment fear leaves your body and something colder, clearer takes its place? He stopped because the living room didn't look like ours anymore. The TV displayed a paused video of my sister at the boutique checkout trying my card. On the coffee table, printed bank statements, a notarized affidavit, and a bright yellow notice from the county court. Temporary protective order, hearing scheduled. By the door, a locksmith tightened the last screw on a brand new deadbolt while our building's security supervisor logged serial numbers of the keys. Hi, I said evenly. Before you ask, that idiot's bank card you stole was a merchant-restricted decoy with a $0 limit. The real accounts moved weeks ago. He stared at the screen, then at the folder in my hand. You recorded us? Backups of threats, demands, and the part where Mom said I'd kneel for grocery money. I nodded toward the mic on the shelf. Admissible. His jaw worked, searching for a script that used to scare me. It didn't. My phone buzzed on speaker. Fraud Department, Ms. Mercer, confirming your request. Attempted use of the decoy card triggered a security flag. Associated devices are locked out. We'll forward the incident packet to your attorney.
Thank you, I said.
I looked back at my brother. You came to yell. I came prepared. He pointed at the court notice with a shaky finger. You're seriously taking this to a judge? I smiled, small and tired.
No.
A judge is already taking it. Behind him, the locksmith clicked the new lock, handed me 2 engraved keys, and the security supervisor collected my brother's access fob from his trembling hand. Effective now, she said gently. You're no longer authorized on this unit. My brother swallowed hard. Outside in the hallway, Mom's ringtone started to ring, and ring, and ring. He backed into the hallway like the building suddenly tilted. Mom was still yelling on speaker. Put her on the phone. She thinks we're scared? We made her. She'll crawl back. He didn't even answer her. He just stared at me. Really stared. Like for the first time in his life, he realized I wasn't the same doormat who paid his parking tickets and gifted him $9,000 every time he claimed his car needed new brakes. The elevator dinged. 2 uniformed officers stepped out. Ms. Mercer? The taller one asked. I nodded. Yes. He handed me a packet. Judge Ramirez authorized the emergency order. Effective immediately, no family member may enter this residence until the hearing date. If they attempt, call us. My brother's face turned ash gray. Wait, he stammered. You actually filed. I cut him off. I didn't file because of today, I said quietly. I filed because of the last 10 years. He blinked like the words physically hit him. The officers escorted him toward the elevator. He didn't fight. He didn't shout. He didn't even turn around. When the doors closed, the silence in the hallway felt brand new, like the start of a season with clean air. I stepped back inside, locked the new metal bolt, placed both keys on the marble counter, and exhaled. My apartment, my space, finally felt like it belonged to me. Not an extension of their entitlement. Not a family bank branch. Not a storage room for other people's emergencies. I made tea, kicked off my shoes, and opened my laptop to finish work. Because while they were busy trying to control me, I was busy building the kind of career that pays for freedom. The next morning, my phone woke me at 6:27 a.m. 17 missed calls. 26 messages. All from Mom. The last one read, You embarrassed us. You made your own mother look stupid at that store. Fix this. Fix this. That was their entire worldview in 2 words. Every time they broke something, my savings, my credit, my dignity, I was the designated fixer. Not anymore. I got ready for work. Navy blazer, hair pinned back, light makeup, the look that says I don't need permission to exist. At the office, my boss, Mr. Hayward, waved me into his glass-walled corner meeting room. Sloan, he said, sliding a printed memo toward me. The board approved your fraud prevention model. We want you to lead the implementation. My throat tightened. This was huge. Not just a promotion. A department of my own. Your work is about empowerment, he continued. We want our voice on every panel this quarter. The timing felt like the universe whispering, see? Their version of you was always too small. During lunch, my attorney called. The fraud flag hit your sister's attempt again. She tried to use the decoy one more time at a Rolex boutique. I laughed, actually laughed, in public. Good, I said. Document every attempt. When I returned home that evening, someone had slipped a handwritten note under my door. Dad says you're heartless. We just wanted what you already have. Why couldn't you share? Mom. I folded the paper carefully. Not emotionally, logistically. Because in my new world, evidence is not sadness. Evidence is leverage. Evidence is freedom. And I wasn't done yet. Saturday morning, I drove to the bank in person. Not because I needed to, everything was already secured, but because I wanted physical, notarized copies of every detail. The branch manager, Miss Collins, greeted me instantly. Ms. Mercer, we've been expecting you. She brought me into her office, closed the frosted glass door, and placed a thick file on her desk. All attempted transactions from your sister's failed card usage, she said. Plus the voice transcripts from your mother's calls demanding access. She slid me a signature pen. We can attach these directly to your protective order case. As I signed, Miss Collins leaned forward. You'd be shocked, she whispered, how often the biggest financial abusers are blood relatives. I wasn't shocked. Not anymore. When I left, I had a folder that weighed about as much as the truth I'd been carrying for years. But now that truth had paper trails and legal teeth. At home, I set everything onto my glass dining table and froze. Someone was sitting on my hallway floor.
Dad.
He looked smaller than I remembered, slumped, exhausted, with his hands clasped in front of his face. I waited here for 2 hours, he said quietly. He didn't yell. He didn't accuse. He just looked defeated. Sloan, your mother is hysterical. Your sister said you're trying to destroy us. I set down my keys. I'm trying to stop being destroyed by you. He rubbed his forehead. We never meant. I raised my hand. No more excuses. I didn't start the war. I ended the free access. His eyes flickered, shame, guilt, fear, maybe all of it. Finally he whispered, voice barely audible. Your sister wants to talk. She's coming here. I didn't flinch. Good, I said. I want her to see what she started. 20 minutes later, the elevator dinged, and my sister walked out like she owned the entire floor. Full makeup, designer coat, sunglasses inside. Like she was arriving at a red carpet event, not a crisis she caused. She didn't even look at me first. She stormed straight past Dad, dropped her luxury purse on my counter, and snapped.
Fix my
card. I leaned against the island calmly. Sit. She froze because she wasn't used to that tone from me. Dad sat down slowly, like he already knew something was about to break open. My sister crossed her arms, chin lifted. You owe us that money. You wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for Mom and Dad raising you. I let her finish, every delusional syllable, then slid the entire folder from the bank across the counter. She barely touched the first page before her face changed. Screenshots of her attempts. Audio transcripts of her demands. Fraud flags. Her signature forging mine on a loan form from months ago. Her lips parted. I never signed that. I turned my phone toward her. Paused on her own voice print identification clip. You did, I said quietly. Dad's face drained of color. My sister stumbled back, one step like the floor shifted under her. You set me up. No, I said. You set yourself up. I just stopped covering your tracks. Her breathing sharpened. What are you going to do with this? She whispered. I looked her right in the eyes. No anger, just clarity. I already did. Her pupils dilated. Pure recognition. She realized she wasn't dealing with a sister she used to bully. She was dealing with a woman who finally played on equal ground and came prepared. Dad sank into the dining chair like his knees gave out. My sister clutched the counter, voice trembling now, not with rage, with fear. "Are you pressing charges?" she whispered. I didn't answer immediately. I walked to the shelf, pulled a small fireproof lockbox, set it on the table, opened it, and placed one last document in front of them. IRS notification, inquiry initiated. My sister gasped. Dad's hand covered his mouth. "I didn't file that out of revenge," I said calmly. "I filed it because you used my SSN to claim dependents that aren't mine." Her face went white. Dad whispered, barely breathing, "Oh, God, you told the IRS?" "Yes," I answered. "And they'll find everything I never knew, and everything you never thought I'd find." My sister suddenly grabbed my wrist. "Sloan, please, you don't understand. I didn't think you'd actually fight back." Exactly. That was the entire story of my life in one sentence. I gently removed her hand. Dad tried a different angle, the soft guilt hook. "We're family, we can fix this, just stop the process." I looked at him with a kind of peace that only comes when a lifelong illusion snaps. "Family is a verb," I said. "And you never did it." My phone buzzed on the counter. Email, protective order, confirmed. Enforcement active. I turned the screen toward them. "This isn't about punishment," I said. "This is about consequences." Dad stood slowly. My sister wiped mascara streaks from her cheeks. They walked to the door in silence. And for the first time in my life, they left without slamming it. The next 48 hours were a strange echo, quiet, heavy, unreal. No calls, no threats, no demands, just stillness. I watered my plants. I meal prepped. I went to work. Normal things, except they finally felt like they were actually mine. On Tuesday, HR called me upstairs. They wanted to inform me, formally, that our company selected me to represent our division at a cybersecurity summit in DC. A national panel.
Me.
A girl my family once said wasn't smart enough to manage a checking account. Funny how people who treat you like a fool panic when you stop acting like one. After work, I picked up a small apple tart from the bakery downstairs, a silly tradition of mine for small victories. When I got home, there were no notes under the door. No sabotage. No drama. Just quiet. I washed my face, tied my hair in a bun, sat cross-legged at my new dining table, and opened my laptop. New email. From a woman named Marina. Subject line. "Your story saved me." Her message was short, but it shook me.
I saw your talk online.
My sister drains my accounts. Yesterday, I closed access. For the first time, I can breathe. I stared at that one paragraph for a long time. Maybe this whole thing, all the pain, all the betrayal, wasn't just for escape. Maybe it was for direction. Hope. Blueprint. Maybe we survive, so someone else doesn't break the same way. I closed my laptop gently. This wasn't the end. It was the pivot. A year later, I stood in a conference hall in DC. Lights dimmed, cameras focused, rows of women in business suits watching me as I spoke. Not as a victim. Not as the quiet daughter who used to apologize for existing. As a keynote speaker. As a subject matter expert. As a woman no one could financially leash ever again. My boundaries didn't destroy my family, I said into the mic. They just revealed who wanted access, not connection. When I finished, the room rose in a standing ovation that moved through the hall like a wave. Not applause for revenge, but recognition of evolution. Back in my hotel room that evening, I opened my balcony door and let the cold air rush in. Down below, taxis slid through wet pavement and streetlights blurred gold across the asphalt. The world looked clean, sharp.
Owned.
My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I didn't jump anymore. I read calmly.
We saw your speech online.
We had no idea. Dad. For a moment, I just stared at those 9 words. No apology. No accountability. Just awareness. Too late to matter. I typed 3 words back.
Take care.
Goodbye. Then I blocked the number. I closed the curtains, brewed chamomile tea, and settled cross-legged on the hotel bed with my laptop open, reviewing applications for the new program I'd built. Secure banking for estranged women. I approved 3 new applicants before midnight. 3 women would wake up tomorrow with access protections my mother tried to rip from me. 3 women would never kneel for grocery money. 3 women would never hand their paychecks to someone who used family as a leash. I set my mug on the nightstand, closed my laptop, and looked out into the dark city. I wasn't running from anything anymore. I was building. For myself. For others. For every woman who learned, the hard way, that blood doesn't guarantee safety.